On today's 30-minute music marketing, how to bank on your fans. What does that mean?
Cue the title sequence and let's find out.
Boom.
30-minute music marketing for musicians who want to get better at marketing their music.
Hi, I'm Greg.
Hello, I'm Sheldon, and this is 30-minute music marketing, the show for independent artists and DIY musicians who want to get better at marketing their music. That's you. Thanks very much for listening to this either as a podcast, on the YouTubes, or streamed on Facebook whenever we stream live and use
Fridays, 8 o'clock.
Use massive amounts of technology. We're recording this on the warmest day of the year so far.
Very warm.
It'd be great to actually go back and go through, examine all our earlier videos, and you can see us. Did we start off in January when I had my body warmer on?
Yeah, we did start in January when it was a little bit colder than it is today.
And today I'm wearing my shorts, but thankfully we've cropped that off. There's no need to see
Not
that.
something you want
and
to see.
you know, if you're listening on the podcast, you can only imagine the state of my legs. So
today's question.
Well,
today's session.
It's sort of inspired from a particular comment from someone on the YouTube, and in some respects, I think follows on directly from what we were talking about last week, which was a 365 self-perpetuating marketing plan, which went from sort of short, medium, and long term in terms of what to do on a day-to-day basis, maybe what to do on a week by week basis, and then also expanding in terms of talking about single releases and maybe 3 or 4 of those per year, and how they all sort of fitted in together and what you needed to do to keep that particular cycle of marketing going. So you've got a
So we got a question on the YouTube channel from One Shot.
Hello, One Shot.
Hello.
Right?
Hey guys, listen to your show every week. The issue we're having, thanks by the way, is that while it is easy to get people to click like on a page, it is really difficult to actually get those people to come to your show.
Bums on seats, as we call it in the trade.
We are solidly in the friends and family demographic still. Any thoughts on that?
Right. Well, obviously, as we've discussed, the best way to reach out to a new audience is your new music. So your singles, and having a marketing plan in place so you use your singles as an outreach opportunity, and you have a marketing and an advertising spend in order to try and raise awareness of your new release. So that would normally be in the realm of Facebook ads. So in terms of marketing and targeting, you'd spend a modest amount of money advertising your new release to a new audience, and then getting them into your social world, maybe potentially on your mailing list. But even if you're advertising on Facebook, so let's work on the basis that you're getting them into, they've liked your page, and they're now in that particular ecosphere. That's the word I was looking for. And as we were mentioning last week, in terms of this regular weekly content that you'd be producing, we were talking about potentially it could be a podcast that you do once a month. You could do an acoustic live session once a month. You could do some sort of branded show, whatever yourself and your audience you're into, whatever your shared or common interest is. It could be you could have a little sort of, we've got my band has got several sort of 5-10 minute shows, easily produced, just one camera, and also we've got pre-filmed live performances. We use yourself, Greg, and indeed we're going out this weekend, aren't we?
Yes, it's going to be a little gig, isn't it?
A little. It's my band's biggest gig of the year. So we make an investment in recording our live performances. We come back, we edit them all, produce them all in the studio, and release those currently once a week, just for general sort of Facebook comment. And this is really now getting to the crux of today's episode. It's all about putting goodwill in what I will refer to, Greg, as the fan bank.
Yeah.
So if you produce content that not only engages your audience, and that content that your audience will find value in, what you are doing is you are placing money in the fan bank. So, Greg, I'm going to use a visual analogy.
I did wonder why there was money on the edge of the couch.
I know you don't often see money in this particular studio, but here we go. So, here we go.
It's so true.
So I'm giving you, the first week of the month, I'm giving you a podcast. You like my podcast.
Yep.
So you value it. So me giving that podcast to you, although it's an intangible amount,
yes,
I'm depositing in the fan bank. There we go.
5 pence.
5 pence. You know,
About
again,
3
it's
cents for
again.
American cousins.
Think not too much of the imaginary monetary terms, but say also that I produce and put on my social channels and on my YouTube a live performance of us performing at a festival or performing at a sold out packed venue, and my audience at the other end, oh, they like this, oh, I like this particular song, and so again, they find value in that. So me giving that to free deposits some value.
We've gone up
in the fan bank.
Okay.
Add to that a artist fan relationship.
Yep.
So let's go and continually use your biggest musician chum, which is BT. So you're a fan of BT. We're back onto BT again.
He said it this week. I wasn't even thinking.
Yeah. So whenever you maybe post something on one of BT's videos, and BT, who's a big superstar, replies to you, "Ah, you like BT?
I do.
Even more."
I
so
do.
that video that he's produced that you've watched because you've commented on his video, and he's commented on your comment, you like him even more. So that video is now worth
considerably more.
Considerably more. That's 50 pence. Show that for the again. You know, these are that's imaginary
about 35 cents for our
monetary terms. But if we're doing this on a regular basis, on a week in, week out,
it's going to stack up.
It's going to stack up, and the reason being is that many months in the future, when you say to somebody, right, I now need you to come and maybe come out to see me at a show, or if you've got a T-shirt that's just come out, a new item of merch.
Or a vinyl record.
Or a vinyl record. So whenever you need your audience to spend some money on you, what you've actually done is you've been depositing in the bank first before you make a withdrawal.
And it's a shame that I wasn't a little bit more prepared, because now I could have like a £10 note, which I could then give to you, which is significantly more than the amount that you've deposited, because I now believe this to be worth something.
But what the majority of musicians fail to understand is that for somebody to come out to a show, I mean, there are two costs. There are costs in terms of time. There are costs in terms of actual money to spend, because not only to get through the door, but £5 a pint in most establishments. So we're now in a situation as DIY artists and independent musicians, is that you've generally got to do a lot for your audience first before you can actually sort of make that withdrawal. And that's probably the one thing that not only do most artists not understand, but as a successfully gigging artist, through obviously the context of my band as a whole, that's one of the reasons why we are so successful on the live circuit, is that we're constantly giving our fans on obviously on a day-to-day basis in terms of entertaining and communicating on the socials, but giving them lots of content that they find valuable, communicating with them whenever they want their level of communication, so that when we do actually ask people to come out and see us at a show, again, if you've been posting videos of your live performances, you're giving people a fantastic example of what what great times they're going to have when they do actually go out there. But most bands don't actually do that. It'll just be a case of saying, right, well, come out and see us at a show. And the example, it's like, well, why should I? And what we're doing is we're giving people, a really good reason to do that.
That's the thing that, with obviously, because I've spent a lot of time working with you guys, filming and helping you create your social media content. You've always said, about focus on the fans, because ultimately that's what gets you. If people see that you are providing the audience with a really good time, then that's got you better.
So as an artist, I really do care about my audience, and I'm really glad of their participation. And technically, they fund my career. Without them, we wouldn't be able to release music that would be streamed and bought so much, and we wouldn't be able to sell out shows. Obviously, we've just done a very small run of theatre shows in the UK. We sold out 5 of the 6 venues, and the one we didn't sell out, we still sold over 600 tickets, but that's down to a constant ground level grind of constantly showing people just what they're going to get, entertaining them, giving them stuff, giving them opportunities to like us, giving ourselves opportunities to communicate with our audience, so that when we do need to make that withdrawal, which will only be, maybe once a year, will be in your town, I'll have communicated with them, possibly personally, several times over the course of the last 12 months since we were there. And that's how it's so much easier for us to get people to our shows. So what you've got to do is you've got to make sure that you're releasing new music, that you've got a marketing budget and a marketing plan in order to get that music in front of a new audience. Once that audience is then in your sort of social media ecosystem, you can use whatever platform that you use, whether that's your Instagrams, it could be Snapchat if you're a young person, it could be on the Facebook, and then use those channels to constantly give your audience content, develop that relationship with them, so that and constantly putting money into the fan bank. There we go, I've emphasised the concept again. Can we put fan bank TM up on screen? You've no need to do that.
So basically it is about constantly depositing in the fan bank,
bank TM.
And then at some point making a withdrawal, and the fact that you want to make the withdrawal shouldn't seem that outlandish because you've deposited so much.
Yeah, you've done so much for your audience in the first instance. So yes, it does involve a lot of work, but
it does pay off.
It does pay off.
And I've seen that myself, and I'm not even in his band, and I've seen the reaction to it. So it really does pay off. So it's definitely.
So there we go. Right. So thanks very much for that particular question, One Shot. You can hold your head up high now, concentrating on your fan bank.
Let us know
on a weekly basis.
Send us links to your work, actually.
And if you've got any questions or any topics that you'd like us to cover on the show, put a comment on the YouTubes or on the Facebooks. And what we're going to do now is I'm spying a cold beverage.
I'm going to have a glass of water because I'm trying to be healthy.
Oh, look at you!
I know.
You. Right, thanks very much for watching / listening, and we will see you on the next episode.
Thanks very much.
Cheers. Bye. Now. Ta-da.